Hey everyone, this is Kevin from the Bits, Bytes, Pixels, and Sprites, or thebpps.com for you abbreviation nuts. I'm here with our very first video review. A quick note about what I'm taking a look at today. This game is Crackdown for the Sega Genesis. And that's right, I did say Sega Genesis. Nick over at Next Level Games in Stratford, New Jersey pointed this one out to me when we were talking about the recent 360 release. So I'm sorry to disappoint you guys if you were looking forward to a video review of the new Crackdown, but this is what you're getting. In any case, if you weren't able to listen to me and read at the same time, the intro text here says that you're going to play as a special service agent sent to destroy enemy facilities housing a new artificial life system using a new type of time bomb. So, sounds intriguing, and let's get right to it. Alright, so what you're seeing right now is me playing this game for the first time. I'm not actually playing right now as I'm talking, but think of this as kind of an audio commentary for what I already played. So right now I'm watching the playback, and I'm going to talk you through things. So you're going to see things in this game as I saw them for the first time, and keep in mind I didn't have an instruction manual with this. It was used, and that's why I died right there in the first 3 seconds that I was playing. You'll also notice very quickly that I don't know that I have a gun. I'm just gonna find and think that I have to walk and punch things, and that right there was a sort of a cluster bomb, like an oh crap button. That's mapped to your C pad, or to your C button on the Sega Genesis controller. If you notice up in the upper left hand corner, there are two flashing weapon indicators, and one's blue, one's kind of a gold color. And there's a little arrow in front of the gold one. That's because with the A button, you select which type of weapon you're using. The blue one's kind of a regular bullet, and the gold one's kind of a missile. You'll see that in a little bit. Right now, as you can see, I have the missile selected, and I didn't realize this. That's why I think I had to walk up to everybody and punch them. So, the first thing that I really noticed about this game was that the display. I mean, like right here, you're looking at this. You're playing in 1/4 of the TV screen, and back in the Sega Genesis days, not everybody had big, huge, high-def TVs where this really wouldn't have mattered. And on top of that, Sega Genesis is obviously not a high-def system. High-def wasn't even around yet. So, for those of you who might have been playing on, a 13-inch TV that you had in your room, this could have posed a huge problem. So, I always say gameplay comes first, and this is something that really stands in the way of the gameplay, is not really having a whole wide view to see. But what is in the rest of your screen, obviously, on the upper half, in the middle, you have this huge map that shows you where all the bombs that you have to place are. And this is something I found out, like, what I actually was doing in the game, was that I have these, you have to go around and place the bombs in these different places. And so, after you do that, you can just run out, and the time's up. And there you go. Whatever time is left in the bomb, you get to have that as bonus points and whatnot. So, you can see I duck against the wall sometimes, and I die quite frequently because that's what happens when you don't know you have a gun and you think you have to punch everybody. So I'm just trying to make my way around. The guys don't ever go away. There's an infinite amount of guys that will just keep spawning out of these areas. And yes, this is only the second level, and I have to use a continue already. Again, I'm blaming it on not knowing I could fire. But I think right after this is when I discovered that I actually have a gun. And a quick note about that, this is a little bit about the letter input screen for the high scores. Usually on a D-pad, you press up to go from A to B and B to C and so forth. Not in Crackdown, you have to press down to go from A to B and B to C and whatnot, so that totally threw me off. Again, something little, but something worth noting. And here you can see I'm like, oh, well, shit, look at that, I have a gun. And so now the game is going to get, not exactly a whole lot easier, but a little bit more enjoyable than thinking I had to run up to everybody and just punch them. The gameplay is not very expansive, shall we say. And it's kind of repetitive. You're going to have a different map each time. You have guys, and the guys are going to get a little bit more difficult to deal with as the game goes on. There's a list of the people that are in the right hand side of the screen right there, where it's completely useless because I don't even know why you care who's there. I mean, it could have been another whole half of the screen that you could have used for gameplay. And in the top right corner there, it says, Andy, I think this is meant to be a co-op game, which I never had a chance to play with anybody. but it's obviously built for that. It'd probably be a lot easier. And maybe underneath on the right hand side there where it says Mad Murderer and whatever else, maybe that's where Andy would be. Andy's screen would be, which actually would be pretty neat for a game of this age, because a lot of times there wasn't a split screen in these old co-op games. You just had to not go past the edge of the screen where your partner was. So you should remember that. So, you know, again, there's just a lot of wasted space on the screen. It's just poor design, and just not really very well thought out. So as I'm making my way through the second level here, you'll start to notice that I get more of an idea of what you're supposed to do in the game, and I get the hang of it, and I essentially get better. I might skip, you might see it skip every once in a while, because basically Stage 3 was exactly like Stage 2 and Stage 1. This one was a little bit different because you have these electronic doors and the enemies are a little bit more difficult and whatnot. You notice that I'm dying a lot. I mean, it's that old school mentality of one shot, one kill. You don't have a life bar. You don't have any of that kind of stuff that makes games a little bit easier now. That's why people constantly say that games of this age were much harder than games of today, and it's absolutely true. In the modern Crackdown, I can run around for an hour and not die, you know. So it's much different, and anybody who's downloaded Alien Hominid for Xbox Live Arcade can definitely attest to that, or even played Alien Hominid from the PS2, the Xbox, or the GameCube, and that was out in last gen. That's definitely how that has that old school mentality like this. But I mean, this is not a very exciting, not a very fun game to play. It's repetitive. It's you know, it's just not what. It's not one of those games you would have remembered playing when you were a kid. So, I'm taking care of these spider things that are just randomly appearing for no reason. Maybe that's part of the artificial life system. But I believe we're about to get a little miniature cutscene here. If not, I'm going to erase what I just said in the editing. Fancy graphics, huh? And here we go. Is this kind of reminiscent of Contra? You're running out of the building. The guys are dressed in very, very tight outfits that are very, very manly. Alright, what we're looking at here, this is the last portion of what I'm going to show you. I got to this level, the end of this level, and I obviously need to get across to the right there to get out of here. And I have all the bombs, you know, placed and ready to go, except for one on the right-hand side. But there's no way for me to get over there. This is actually the second... my continue after I played this game and used all my lives trying to get across here. But you'll see I'm just going to keep going off the edge and dying. I mean, I tried going to these purple things that are just basically a wall. I walked around the whole level. I could not figure out what to do. It was extremely frustrating, and this is pretty much where I stopped playing the game. So overall, Crackdown is definitely nothing like the original, or not the original, but the 360 game of the same name. And so please, if you ever see this one on the used shelves, just run in the other direction. Right here, you take a look at some of the new Crackdown footage for the 360, and it's a wholly different game. But basically, I said in the beginning, there's some similarities. Basically, the similarities are that you're a special service agent. That's about the size of it, and you have to blow up the enemy. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Please keep coming back to the Bits, Bytes, Pixels, and Sprites. We enjoy having you, and we'll see you soon.